Before you close your eyes tonight, something is already shifting in the unseen, something you cannot hear yet, something you cannot see yet, but something that is already moving toward you with unstoppable force because God has decided that the truth you've been missing for so long can no longer stay hidden, and while the world goes quiet and your body falls into rest, heaven begins to speak in ways you've never experienced before. Because tonight is not just another night, tonight is a divine appointment, a moment written long before you were even aware of the battles you are fighting right now, and you may think nothing is changing, you may feel like everything is the same, but behind the silence God is arranging revelations that will shake your understanding and open your eyes to what has been right in front of you this entire time, and the truth is, there are things you trusted that were never meant for you. There are people you believed in who were never sent by God, and there are situations you kept holding on to that heaven has already marked for release, but you couldn't see it before because the timing wasn't right, your spirit wasn't ready, your heart wasn't prepared to accept what God was about to reveal. But tonight, everything changes, because God is not just going to whisper, He is going to expose, and when God exposes something, no one can hide it again, no lie can survive it, no illusion can stand in its presence, and you might wake up confused, you might wake up feeling different, you might even wake up with a strange sense of clarity that you can't explain, but that's because while you were sleeping, God was working, removing the blindfold from your spirit and showing you what your eyes refused to see during the day, and this is the moment where everything begins to make sense, the unanswered questions, the strange feelings, the sudden distance from certain people, the discomfort you couldn't explain. All of it was leading to this exact moment where truth finally takes its place in your life, and understand this clearly. God does not reveal truth to hurt you, He reveals truth to protect you, because what stays hidden too long can destroy you slowly, and God refuses to let that happen to you, not anymore, not now, and that is why tonight carries a different kind of weight, a different kind of energy, because heaven has decided that enough is enough, enough confusion, enough deception, enough emotional battles that drain your soul without you even knowing why, and as you sleep, God begins to uncover layers, one by one, quietly, powerfully, precisely, showing you who is real and who is not, showing you what is aligned and what is not, and you may not even realize it immediately, but your spirit will feel it, your energy will shift, your tolerance will change, the things you once accepted will start to feel wrong. The people you once trusted will begin to feel distant, and it won't be random, it will be revelation, and revelation always brings separation, because once you see the truth, you cannot go back to believing the lie, and that's why tonight matters more than you think. Because God is preparing you for a shift that will require you to walk differently, think differently, and choose differently, and yes, it may feel uncomfortable, yes, it may even hurt for a moment, but what God removes through truth is something that was never meant to stay in your life, and what He reveals is something that was always meant to guide you forward, and this is not about fear, this is about clarity, this is about finally understanding what your soul has been trying to tell you all along, because deep down, you already felt something wasn't right, you already sensed that something was off, but you ignored it, you doubted it, you convinced yourself to stay quiet, but tonight, God is amplifying that inner voice, turning your intuition into undeniable truth. And when you wake up, you won't be the same person who went to sleep. Because something inside you will have shifted permanently, something inside you will refuse to go back to confusion, And that is how God begins to change your life, not always with loud miracles, but with quiet revelations that alter your entire perspective. And you need to understand that this exposure is not happening to break you, it's happening to free you, because you cannot walk into your next level carrying false connections, false beliefs, and hidden deception. It simply cannot go with you, and God knows where you are going, even if you don't, and He knows what cannot follow you into that future, so He reveals it now, before it's too late, before it causes damage you can't undo. And yes, you may question it at first, you may hesitate, you may even try to deny what you feel, but truth has a way of making itself undeniable, especially when it comes from God, and once it settles in your spirit, there is no escaping it, there is no ignoring it, because it becomes a part of your awareness, and awareness changes everything. It changes how you see people, how you respond to situations, how you protect your peace, and how you move forward. And tonight, that awareness begins. Tonight, that shift starts. Tonight, God opens your eyes in ways that will change your life forever. And while you sleep, He is already working, already revealing, already exposing what needs to be seen. And by the time you wake up, something inside you will know, without explanation, without proof, without confirmation from anyone else. You will just know, and that knowing will be your sign that God has spoken, that God has shown you the truth you've been missing, and from that moment on, nothing will ever feel the same again. And the moment that knowing settles into your spirit, you will begin to notice something unusual happening inside you, a quiet but undeniable resistance toward things you once tolerated so easily. A sudden awareness that refuses to let you go back to the same patterns, the same conversations, the same emotional attachments that once felt normal but now feel heavy, confusing, and out of alignment. Because when God reveals the truth, He doesn't just show it to you, He transforms you through it. He shifts your desires, He recalibrates your thinking, He awakens a level of discernment that makes it impossible for you to stay comfortable in what is no longer meant for you. And this is where many people struggle, because the truth doesn't always feel good at first. Sometimes it feels like loss, sometimes it feels like distance, sometimes it even feels like loneliness. But what you are actually experiencing is separation, divine separation, the kind that pulls you away from what was draining you so you can finally step into what is meant to restore you. And you may not understand it completely in the beginning. You may question why certain people start acting differently, why certain connections begin to fade without explanation, why things that once brought you comfort now bring you discomfort. But this is not confusion, this is confirmation, confirmation that God is actively removing the layers of illusion that once kept you bound. And as this process unfolds, you will begin to see things you couldn't see before, hidden intentions will become clear. Subtle behaviors you once ignored will suddenly stand out, words that once sounded harmless will reveal deeper meanings, and it will feel like your eyes have been opened in a way that cannot be reversed, because truth once seen cannot be unseen. And this is exactly why tonight is so important, because it marks the beginning of a transformation that will continue to unfold in the days ahead, a transformation that is not based on external changes, but on internal awakening. And once that awakening begins, everything else starts to shift naturally. Your boundaries become stronger, your peace becomes more valuable, your tolerance for negativity becomes almost non-existent, and you begin to realize that what you thought you needed was actually something that was holding you back, and what you thought was meant for you was actually something God was protecting you from. and this realization can feel overwhelming at times because it forces you to confront truths you may have been avoiding. It forces you to accept that not everyone in your life has pure intentions, that not every opportunity was sent by God, that not every path you considered was meant for your future. But this is not meant to discourage you, it is meant to empower you, because clarity gives you control, clarity gives you direction, clarity gives you the ability to make decisions that align with your purpose instead of your emotions, and this is where your life begins to change in ways you never expected, because instead of reacting blindly, you begin to respond with awareness, instead of chasing what feels good in the moment. You begin to choose what is right for your future, and instead of holding on to things out of fear, you begin to release them with confidence, knowing that if God is exposing it, it means it cannot go where you are going, and there is something else you need to understand about this moment, something most people never realize until much later, and that is the fact that exposure is a form of protection. Because God will never allow hidden danger to follow you into your next level without first giving you the chance to see it clearly, and tonight, that chance is being given to you, not through loud signs or dramatic events, but through subtle, undeniable shifts that take place within your spirit, shifts that guide you without forcing you, shifts that reveal without overwhelming you, shifts that prepare you for decisions you will soon have to make, and those decisions will not always be easy. Walking away never is. Letting go never is, choosing truth over comfort never is, but it is always necessary when God is leading you somewhere greater, and you may not see the full picture yet. You may not understand why certain things are being revealed now instead of earlier, but timing is everything when it comes to divine intervention, because God knows exactly when your heart is strong enough to handle the truth, exactly when your mind is ready to process it, exactly when your spirit is prepared to act on it. And if it is being revealed now, it means you are ready, even if you don't feel ready, even if you doubt yourself, even if part of you wants to ignore it and go back to what feels familiar, but deep down, you will know that you cannot, because once God shows you something, ignoring it becomes impossible without losing your peace, and peace is something you will begin to value more than ever after tonight, because you will start to realize that not everything that looks good is good for you. Not everything that feels right in the moment is right in the long run, and not everything that stays in your life deserves to stay there, and this awareness will begin to guide your choices in ways that feel almost instinctive, almost automatic, like your spirit is leading you without effort, and in a way, it is, because once God activates your discernment, you begin to operate from a higher level of understanding, a level that sees beyond appearances, beyond words, beyond temporary emotions, and into the truth of what is really happening beneath the surface, and this is where your power begins to return, the power you didn't even realize you lost while you were holding on to things that were never meant for you, the power to choose wisely, the power to protect your energy, the power to walk away without guilt, the power to trust what you feel without needing validation from anyone else, and this power is not something external, it is something that has always been within you. But it needed to be activated, it needed to be awakened, and tonight, that awakening begins in a way that will continue to unfold long after you wake up, because God is not just showing you the truth for one moment, He is setting you on a path where truth becomes your foundation, your guide, your protection, and your strength, and as this process continues, you will start to notice that things that once confused you no longer have the same effect, situations that once drained you no longer hold the same power, and people who once influenced your decisions no longer have the Same control, because you are no longer operating from the same level of awareness, you are no longer seeing life through the same lens, you are seeing it through truth, and truth changes everything. It changes how you love, how you trust, how you connect, and most importantly, how you move forward. And as you step into this new level of clarity, you will begin to understand that what God revealed was never meant to take something away from you, it was meant to give you something greater. Something real, something aligned with your purpose, and while it may take time for everything to fully make sense, one thing will remain clear: you will never be the same person you were before tonight, because once truth enters your life in this way, it leaves a permanent mark on your spirit, a mark that guides you, protects you, and leads you toward a future that is no longer built on illusion, but on clarity, strength, and divine direction. And as this divine clarity continues to unfold within you, you will begin to notice a deeper shift that goes beyond just seeing the truth. It will begin to change how you feel at your core, how you carry yourself, how you respond to everything around you. Because when God exposes what was hidden, He is not just revealing external things, He is realigning your entire inner world. And this is where the transformation becomes undeniable, because you will start to feel a quiet strength rising within you, a strength that does not need validation, a strength that does not need approval, a strength that simply knows, and that knowing will begin to guide you in ways that feel almost unexplainable, because you won't always have logical reasons for what you feel. You won't always be able to explain why something suddenly feels wrong or why someone's presence no longer brings you peace, but you won't need to explain it. Because truth does not require explanation, it requires acceptance, and once you accept what God has revealed to you, everything else will begin to fall into place, even if it feels uncomfortable at first, even if it feels like you are losing something important, because what you are actually losing is illusion, and illusion can never build a future that lasts. Illusion can never give you the peace you are searching for. Illusion can only delay the truth, but it can never replace it. And tonight was the moment where that delay came to an end. Tonight was the moment where God decided that you have stayed in the dark long enough, that you have questioned yourself long enough, that you have ignored your inner voice long enough, and now it is time for you to walk in clarity, even if that clarity requires you to make difficult choices, even if that clarity forces you to step away from what is familiar, because familiarity is not always alignment, and comfort is not always truth. And this is one of the hardest lessons to accept, because sometimes the things that feel the most comfortable are the very things that are keeping you stuck, the very things that are preventing you from stepping into the life that God has prepared for you. And when that realization hits, it can feel overwhelming. It can feel like everything you thought was stable is suddenly uncertain. But this is not instability, this is awakening. This is the moment where your life begins to shift from unconscious patterns to intentional living, from emotional reactions to spiritual awareness, from confusion to clarity. And as this shift continues, you will begin to see how everything that is being revealed is connected, how the people, the situations, the emotions, all of it forms a pattern that you couldn't recognize before, but now it becomes impossible to ignore, and this pattern will show you exactly what God has been trying to protect you from, exactly what He has been trying to remove from your path, exactly what He has been trying to redirect you away from. And once you see that pattern clearly, you will no longer feel confused about what to do next, because the truth will make the decision for you. It will remove the doubt, it will remove the hesitation, it will remove the need to overthink, and it will replace it with a quiet certainty that cannot be shaken, and that certainty will become your guide moving forward. it will influence your choices, your actions, your boundaries, and your direction. And this is where your life begins to take a completely different path. Not because something external forced it, but because something internal changed, something awakened, something aligned, and that alignment will begin to attract different things into your life, different people, different opportunities, different experiences, because once you are no longer aligned with deception, you naturally begin to align with truth, and truth attracts what is real, what is genuine, what is meant for you. And this is where you will start to notice another shift, a shift in the way people respond to you, a shift in the way situations unfold, a shift in the energy around you, because when you carry truth within you, it changes the way the world interacts with you, it creates a boundary that cannot be crossed by anything that is not aligned, and while this may cause some people to distance themselves, while this may cause certain opportunities to disappear, it is not loss, it is filtering. It is God removing what cannot stay in your life now that you see clearly. And this filtering process is essential, because you cannot build a future on a foundation that is not real, you cannot move forward while holding on to things that were never meant to go with you, and as this process continues, you will begin to feel lighter, not immediately, but gradually, as each layer of illusion is removed, as each truth is accepted, as each decision is made with clarity instead of confusion. And that lightness will become a sign that you are moving in the right direction. That you are aligning with what God has shown you, that you are trusting the truth even when it is difficult, even when it requires courage, even when it means walking a path that feels uncertain at first, but that uncertainty will not last, because truth always leads to stability, truth always leads to peace, truth always leads to a place where you no longer have to question what you feel, where you no longer have to doubt what you see, where you no longer have to wonder if you are being misled, because you will know, and that knowing will become your strength, it will become your protection, it will become the foundation on which you build everything moving forward, and this is the moment where you begin to step into a new version of yourself, a version that is no longer controlled by fear, no longer influenced by illusion, no longer held back by what is not real, but guided by clarity, strengthened by truth, and aligned with purpose. And as you continue on this path, you will begin to understand why everything had to happen the way it did, why the truth could not be revealed earlier, why the timing had to be exactly what it is now, because if you had seen this before, you may not have been ready to accept it, you may have ignored it, you may have stayed in the same patterns, but now, everything is different, now, you are ready, now, you are aware, now. You are able to see what God has been trying to show you all along, and this awareness will not fade, it will not disappear, it will stay with you, guiding you, protecting you, reminding you of what is real and what is not, and as you move forward, you will carry this truth with you, not as a burden, but as a blessing, because it will keep you from falling into the same traps, it will keep you from repeating the same mistakes, it will keep you aligned with the path that God has set for you, and that path will lead you to something greater than what you lost, something more real than what was removed, something more aligned than what was exposed. And when you finally reach that place, when everything begins to make sense, when everything falls into alignment, you will look back at this moment, at this night, and you will realize that this was not just a random experience, this was a turning point, this was the moment where everything began to change, where truth entered your life in a way that could never be undone, and where God showed you what you needed to see in order to become who you were always meant to be. And as you continue walking in this new awareness, something even deeper begins to unfold within you, something that goes beyond just clarity and into a level of inner peace that you may have been searching for without even realizing it, because when truth takes root inside your spirit, it doesn't just guide you, it stabilizes you, it anchors you in a way that nothing external can shake. And this is where you begin to notice that the things that once disturbed your peace no longer have the same effect. The chaos that once pulled you in no longer has the same power, the confusion that once clouded your judgment no longer exists in the same way, because truth has replaced it with understanding, and understanding brings peace, even when the situation itself is not perfect, even when everything around you has not fully aligned yet, because peace is no longer coming from what is happening outside of you. It is coming from what God has revealed within you, and this is one of the most powerful shifts you will ever experience, because it frees you from needing everything to make sense immediately, it frees you from needing answers from other people, it frees you from waiting for confirmation, because you already carry the confirmation inside you, you already have the clarity you need. And this is where your confidence begins to grow in a completely different way. Not the kind of confidence that depends on outcomes, but the kind that is rooted in truth, the kind that remains steady even when things around you are changing, and as this confidence builds, you will begin to move differently, speak differently, choose differently, because you are no longer operating from uncertainty, you are operating from awareness, and awareness changes everything about how you live your life. It changes what you accept, it changes what you allow, it changes what you pursue, and most importantly, it changes what you walk away from without hesitation, and this is where many people will begin to notice a difference in you, even if they cannot explain it. Even if they do not understand it, they will feel that something about you has changed, something about your energy, your presence, your responses, and that change will not always be comfortable for everyone, because not everyone benefits from your clarity, not everyone can remain in your life when you begin to see things as they truly are. And this is something you will have to accept as you continue forward, that growth often creates distance, that truth often creates separation, but that separation is not something to fear, it is something to embrace, because it is making room for what is truly meant for you, it is clearing space for connections that are real, for opportunities that are aligned, for experiences that bring peace instead of confusion, and as this space begins to open up in your life, you will start to feel a sense of renewal, a sense of possibility, a sense that something new is beginning to take shape, even if you cannot fully see it yet, because God does not just remove and reveal, He replaces and restores, He brings in what is needed once what is not needed has been cleared away, and this is where your faith will begin to deepen, because you will start to trust the process in a way you never have before. You will start to understand that even the uncomfortable moments had a purpose, that even the painful realizations were necessary, that even the things you did not want to see were exactly what you needed to see in order to move forward, and this understanding will change how you view everything that happens from this point on. It will give you a perspective that allows you to see beyond the surface, to see beyond temporary discomfort, and to recognize the deeper purpose behind every shift, every change, every revelation, and this is where your relationship with God becomes stronger. Not because everything is easy, but because everything is clear, because you begin to see how He has been guiding you all along, how He has been protecting you even when you didn't realize it, how He has been speaking to you through moments you once dismissed as coincidence, and this awareness creates a connection that cannot be broken by doubt, because it is built on experience, it is built on what you have seen, what you have felt, what you have come to understand through your own journey. And as you continue to grow in this connection, you will find that you are no longer afraid of the truth, you are no longer resisting it, you are no longer avoiding it, you are embracing it, because you now understand that truth is not your enemy, it is your guide, it is your protection, it is the very thing that is leading you toward a life that is real, a life that is aligned, a life that is free from the confusion and deception that once surrounded you. And this is where everything begins to come together in a way that feels almost effortless, because you are no longer fighting against what is being revealed, you are moving with it, you are allowing it to shape your path, your decisions, your direction, and this alignment creates a flow in your life that feels natural, that feels right, that feels guided, and as this flow continues, you will begin to notice that the right things start to find you without force, the right people start to connect with you without effort, the right opportunities begin to appear at the right time. Because you are no longer out of alignment, you are no longer chasing what is not meant for you, you are allowing what is meant for you to come into your life, and this is one of the greatest shifts that can happen, moving from chasing to receiving, from forcing to trusting, from confusion to clarity, and it all began with one night, one moment, one decision from God to reveal what you could not see on your own, and as you look back on that moment, you will begin to realize just how important it was, just how necessary it was, just how much it changed the direction of your life, because without that truth, you may have continued on a path that was not meant for you, you may have stayed connected to things that were slowly draining you, you may have missed out on what was truly aligned with your purpose, but God did not allow that to happen. He stepped in, He revealed, He exposed, and in doing so, He redirected you towards something greater, something real, something that matches who you are becoming, and this is where your journey truly begins, not the journey you thought you were on before, but the one that is built on truth, guided by clarity, and aligned with the purpose that God has placed within you, and from this point forward, you will continue to grow, continue to see, continue to understand, and continue to move toward a future that is no longer uncertain, but filled with direction, peace, and a deep, unshakable knowing that you are exactly where you are meant to be.